And we only have 4. While in sports, Nico United appointed former Zebras coach Mokgomotsi Mpote as their new head coach. Dumelang. The President, Dr. Mokgweetsi Masisi, says Botswana is in full support of Zimbabwe and the lifting of decades-long sanctions imposed on that country by some of the world's major powers, which have been detrimental to the development of the people and the economy. President Masisi was speaking during a courtesy call on him yesterday by Mr. Simbarashe Mbungwegwi, who is a special envoy of the Zambian President, Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa. Utsidile Onkabetsi.
Botswana and Zimbabwe relations date back many decades, with the duo maintaining a constant and relentless posture of bilateral growth and cooperation. Botswana, like other African Union member countries, also continues to pronounce her unwavering support of the complete lifting of sanctions against neighboring Zimbabwe, which have been detrimental to the development of her people and economy.
We have the sanctions removed, and we call for it without blinking or winching. Because we feel strongly that there are other more civil, more decent ways of resolving any differences of opinion that people might have. And that is the realm of diplomacy, if anybody were to go by it. And you are a foreign minister for a long time. You understand that quite well. And we would expect that those particularly who instruct us in diplomatic etiquette would understand that too. And it's also quite revealing that for some of the critics of Zimbabwe and its processes, how they themselves conveniently forget to look into themselves.
The president also shared with Zimbabwean Special Envoy to President Dr. Emmerson Mnangagwa about Botswana's ongoing voter registration as a build-up to her national elections scheduled for October this year, at a date yet to be announced by the Independent Electoral Commission.
I'm sure you know our people here. Unfortunately, our ministers are off. We had cabinet this morning, but they had to go off because we are running around with the registration and trying to mobilize people to register. The turnout is very low, whether it's voter apathy or whatever, and all sorts of things. But they'll try their best to try and mop up people, because we only left a few days until it ends.
In 2018, Botswana and Zimbabwe signed an agreement which led to the establishment of a binational commission purposed to promote cooperation in various sectors of development. The Zimbabwean president is also expected to visit Botswana next week. Utsidile Onkabetsi, BTV News, Gaborone.
And the Vice President, Reslam Batsoane, says it is important for Botswana to take part in the voter registration process in order to be eligible to participate in other activities of national interest, such as voting and referendums. The Vice President said this when addressing a Khotla meeting in Makalamabedi.
This meeting concluded the Vice President's consultative meetings in his Boteti West constituency. The Vice President emphasized on the importance of registering to vote.
Yes or no. I was in a karata, you quite stand top of Umpiel. Lahano rata, it low hit. Umotlo Gisavasa Dumelani. Carwena, I considered too. So, how on the referendum, Itabu Yara Kokobao, Bavana the Karata, Yadito.
Presidents shared some of their views with their Member of Parliament.
Can I get that clinic? Me I know beside one posted colleague. You know, when I cause we Uruhata or Kita.
Baba Kupa Tirulus Chavacana, Baba Kupide for a Mueva Temwe, Molena la Tirulus Chava. Oliver Hailore, Moho Nakapuano, Monacaramavedi. Bana basale bakwadi go nna le baka go tsale baka le
ha motho a thubeditse ngwana kgotsa mogolo a mogwe bonna jwa
Some of the residents' concerns were addressed.
Kana batsadi le ta itse gore kolo ye e tayana e sena mokgweetsi ka gore e ta ile package bodiredi ba kokelo e ga bose bo approve bo santse bo loko di PSM ka nna go hela go ta bo approve wa ta bo re hirela mokgweetsi wa yona e bile ke tshwenyegile ka gore bo tsere lobaka mme go twa go twe go santse go tsweletse ka go hira bo nne se ba teng ba ba tlinang ba re jaanong khosi o ta ikinela diatametse ke ba o mantsa thata gore ga ba tshwanela go tsa ambulance ba sa ya dima so se se botlhokwa ke gore ba dime ambulance ya go nna yang
bothe re sa hiri matirelo a matla go nna ka itemogela gore hititse dipalo tse di neetswe go ka teng di-quotara le ga se ka bophara bo go emisiwa gore dipalo tsa teng di boele.
Residents were also informed that the road construction that links their village with Motopi will commence before the end of this financial year. Swaitsen Teboho, BTV News, Makalamabedi.
Meanwhile, with only 4 days left before the closure of the election registration, so far only 451,870 people have registered against the target of 1.7 million eligible voters. Nonetheless, IEC Secretary Jefferson Siamisang is confident that all the eligible voters will rise up on the last days to make sure they exercise their democratic right to register before the closing date this coming Saturday.
Gare di sobokela tsotlhe tsa lehatshe lotlhe la Botswana mo di police stations tse di 2880 le di kgaolo thopo tsa bategima parlamente tse di mpsa di le 61 ka masome a marataro le bongwe go setse go ikwadisitse Batswana ba le 451,870 ke dipalo tse re di tsereng ka la bothano mo bekeng e neng e heta me o da gakologala jaaka o setse o supile kgaitsedi ka gore voting population ya Botswana mo dithopong tsa 2024 ke ene about 1.7 billion me rona re le an election management body re ipetse 80% ele target ya rona ene gore ke about 1.3 million.
Now, companies operating within the Okavango Delta continue to initiate strategies of caring for the flora and fauna found within the Delta. Some of the senior tour guides working at Sandibe Okavango Safari Lodge Under and Beyond Company say they have initiatives to care for the wildlife and also protect indigenous species like trees within the Delta. Love more, Mario.
This is the Sandibe concession found within the Okavango Delta. This concession consists of many indigenous species like trees and other protected animals. The Moana tree is one of those trees found in Sandibe concession, and the tour guides within this area say their company has come up with strategies to protect this tree, which is normally destroyed by elephants.
ha re ka leka sengwe se le gore sta tsa nako e telelenyana ka gore tšhili sengwe ne re ha pula dina go tso ya go thatsoga ke pula and then go ra gore ngwa ga o ta ga re tsha se tšhili sengwe gape and then kompone be le ka gore itse mesh wire and then e be cover the back of the tree right around the tree of the baobab gore start so se kgone go gonna resistant mo ditou go se ikanyana dikaitse tsone tsela gore ta di bona ha re ntse re tsamaya gone mo at the moment ha re le te gona re mo concession ya Sandibe concession e lori en bione ke gone mo ile ka maiteko gore e thuse dithare gone jalo.
Still in this concession, there are animals which are found here seasonally and relocate based on the flow of the Okavango River and flood plains.
Part of the Okavango Delta, which is 60% of the area is get flooded when we have got floods, and 40% is remain for where we conduct our safaris. And we still see a very good wildlife in this 40%. And what I've learned, I would see that wildlife here especially elephants and buffaloes. We have a big herd of elephant seasonally. We see them here in big numbers. That is in winter, probably, which is also our peak season.
Tour guides at both Karana and Sandibe camps say many tourists visit their concessions to see wildlife which needs to be protected at all times.
Yeah, most of the people that we receive here or come to here, they want to see animals mostly. There are those who would like to do walking, safaris, or even want to see the nature as it is, to be out there to see the landscape. But yeah, most of the people come here to see those animals.
And we even teach them our culture in Botswana, for how our old generation used to live in this land, in this beautiful delta. Because remember, like the delta used to be owned by the Khoisans, which is now the majority of them are still around in the delta. And for the guests to come here, they wouldn't know that there were people before us or before the lodges in this industry of tourism.
Between 2014 and 2019 and beyond, in collaboration with Great Plains, introduced an initiative called Rhinos Without Borders, which saw a successful translocation aimed of ensuring the survival of rhinos in Southern Africa. Love Mario, BTV News, Sandibe Concession, Okavango Delta.
The chairperson of the Kgalagadi South Ministers Fraternal, Reverend Kya Betswe Khabulekane, says it is important for churches to come together to pray against social ills such as drug abuse and passion killings. Reverend Khabulekane said this at a prayer session held by various churches in Tsabong Village, Main Kotla.
Reverend Khabulekane said churches have a responsibility to provide spiritual guidance as well as promote moral and ethical values to people, as that can help reduce social ills that continue to affect the nation. He also encouraged congregants to continue with the spirit of prayer throughout the year so the nation can have peaceful elections.
Ke sone se ke simololang ka gore gepe re tswalang ke ya go kitlanya.
Churches have a responsibility to pray for the nation. If we pray against a social ills, God in heaven will hear us and have mercy on us.
Di diragalang re le kereke re itemogela gore ditiragalo tse di diragalang di re baya kgakala thata le modimo.
The youth were motivated to attend church as they can learn valuable godly teachings that can help transform their lives. We'll come up with different activities to entertain the youth in our church. The key is for churches to unite and pray in one accord. The church is my saving grace. It directs my path. Reverend Khabulekane said it is the responsibility of all religious institutions to encourage people to register for elections in order to exercise their democratic rights at this year's national elections. BTV News, Tsabong.
You're watching BTV News and thank you for staying with us. Now, the police in Silibekwe have mobilized and partnered with other law enforcement agencies to effectively deal with lawlessness in that area. This was ascertained rather by the officer commanding District Number 10, Senior Superintendent Agreement Mapeu, as he shared the report of the operation held recently. Karabo Mulusi.
The District Number 10 policing area stretches across Silibekwe, Madinari, Bobonong, Semolale and Bains Drift, but the operation targeted Silibekwe and surrounding areas. 41 motorists were charged for driving vehicles with defects, 4 of them being public transport vehicles, and 3 unlawful shipping operators, among other charges.
There is a lot of lawlessness. Raya Murituolon Sarnasote, Tata Nerza Maricheka compliance, ya our trading stores or trading businesses. Nehapere emisari kolere de kanisa tsela. Sporadic roadblocks.
Other departments which took part in the operation included the Road Transport and Safety, Botswana Unified Revenue Services and Immigration, searching for undocumented immigrants.
Tota tirisanyo mmogo ya rona re le baitshireletso le maphata a mangwe a ile gore le one a na le melawana a bonang gore molao wa diragatswa mo kgaolong ke so se stona thata se ke se lebogelang thata ke re ke kopo ya gore re tswelela re tshwaraganeng jaana ka gore Motswana re tshwara ke ntša pedi a se thata.
The members of the community were also urged to report suspicious activities to help the police prevent or interrupt crime promptly.
Keletso ya rona le mapodisi ke gore a re ne mo tikologong e leng gore molao wa obamelwa. Dikgang tse dingwe tse e leng gore la di bona le setšhaba mo tikologong e thata dikgang tsa tiriso ditagi ka gore tsone di teng mo kgaolong ya rona. Re kopa ka tsweetswe gore ha le na le lesedi gope kae re lumentsebe re tle re kgone go kganna boruti ja go nna jalo.
The officer commanding Senior Superintendent Mapeu has revealed intentions to continue with the operations, leveraging on the existing effective working partnership with all involved stakeholders. Karabo Mulusi, BTV News, Silibi Pikwe.
Mulepolele residents of Garanta Ward in the Mulepolele North constituency have expressed dissatisfaction with the recent changes made to minimum wage rates for the domestic and agriculture sector, saying there's a lack of consultation. Set to take effect on the 1st of February 2024, the increase stands at 38.4%, bringing the minimum wage to 1,500 pula per month. The residents were speaking at a consultative Kota meeting with the area member of parliament, Re Wabile Rehueng Budulo Morosi.
The long debated issue of escalating the minimum wage has been a prominent subject discussion in parliament and is now set to take effect on the 1st of February 2024. In the agricultural and domestic sector, the increase will be 38.4%, bringing the minimum wage to 1,500 pula per month.
Madi a temo le tiriso a tshwanetswe ke gore ha re ya go tsena mo go dumalaneng le bairiwa ba ba yang go disetsa e re bitse re le batsadi badisa ba gompieko ba duela madi a mantsintsi mme ebile gape ha saka le phunyegilare ga ke a ireba go agela lesaka
ha ne go dilwe phuthego pele go pasisiwa molao go bitswa barua kgomo le badisa ba bone ra go lekudisanya ka yone.
Nna ke limile dihectara di 4 mme ke na le dingwaga di le 84 ke tswa pelo ke eletsa nka be government dilo tse a di re neelang tse ke na le thata ke dira go menagane ka gore nna le re lema ka mogoma ko tshwara le selei ke palama selei gampieno dilo di bonolo di molemo ke a lebogang palamente wa me ke limetse na temo le toto.
In this meeting, Mr. Omabile Roeng highlighted that police station with 7 houses has been allocated land in Mulepolele North.
Re ne re kopile gore itshireletso le burukuthi di ile bontsi mo motse wa Mulepolele. Ra be re kopa police station e re ntseng re lwa ka yone. Me puso ga isko ya gane mo nakong epe ha la maragonyana. Mathata a ne re ntse re nana one le a lehatse. Tshwetso ya beetse wa gore nya a re santse re bata ha re ka ga police station e kgolwane teng gongwe re agetse dipotlana di le pedi mo motse wa rona Mulepolele ya ntlha re bonyesetsa hela ha le balitseng ha o pagamela ha tshiretsang ha le ha se kono tirisela nteng la go bona kere o pagamela go godimo ke to pagamela go motlhabeng go bonyesetsa gone ho go ya police station e potlana gone kwa e na le matwadi supa a mapodisi mme re sologetse gore gape mo go ga ba ga yone eo be ba go aga engwe gape ko magokotswana e tshwanang le yone eo e nang le matlo a supa le yone so di pedi jaaka nne ke bua e le project ya bone e goromente a ntshitseng madi gore teodiwa mo motse wa Molepolole.
Area MP encouraged the residents in his constituency to register for election in large numbers, reminding them the importance of exercising their right to vote for their future leaders. Budulo Mogoros, BTV News, Molepolole.
And that's how we end our bulletin this hour. Thank you for watching. Liza is standing by to give you sports.
Thank you so much, Kaelo Sabone. Good afternoon. My name is Liza Osekeng with your World of Sport. And in our first story this afternoon, Janeng Athletics Club coach and administrator Tateone Lefatsi says pre-season competitions help athletes and coaching staff to build a more precise roadmap as they prepare for the 2024 season. Lefatsi highlighted this at the track and field competition held at the National Stadium this past weekend. Kagiso Molelekwa has the report.
This was the second track and field competition, which was mainly aimed at gauging athletes' training status and help them in building speed and endurance in various disciplines.
Very similar season, we check the athletes how prepared are they. As a coach, who estimate 33 seconds more 300 meters. So, idea o ka taboga ya mo 400 and maybe I will add 12 seconds or whatever we go right o kana taboga around 45 seconds o bo bona o ya on the right track kana o santselo saletse go morago o bo bona ro tshwantse ro addressing.
The weekend track and field competitions featured 600 meters, 300 meters, 150 meters, 60 meters sprints for under 18, under 20 and the seniors. Some races featured national team athletes such as 400 meters Taziwane Ngozi, who won the men's senior 300 meter race by 33.30 seconds, while Bernard Ulisise clocked 33.83 seconds in the second place, while Kaborangwe came in third. In the 300 meters women's category, Holeka Nchikani registered the overall best time of 38.52 seconds, while Sam Hutsiwa won the under 18 category with a time of 41.31 seconds. Some middle distance runners used the 600 meters to sharpen up for the season. 20-year-old Kawase Shoka of Mahil Athletics Club from Bobonong impressed with a time of 1 minute 17 seconds, while in the senior women's category, Neldi Monte won with a time of 1 minute 50 seconds.
Nna tota nkare ke itumetse tota for race ya tsetsieno tota ke itumetse fela thata tota ne ke traina tota thata ke lekile go tsosa ikatiso ya me ne ke ntse ke sa traina kere for the past few weeks so e rile ke ta kwano ga borone be ke trainela 2 times a day ta ne ke batla go ipakanyetsa 400 that's why ke tsere 600 ka gore motona ke ipakanyetsa 400 gore ke kgone go qualifyela the All Africa Games.
The competition featured the women's senior high jump where Tsogofatso Bojosi of Mount Track and Field Club cleared 5.86 meters, while in the men's category, Sonal Abobe jumped 7.52 meters.
Today's performance MLA Kwatazahaya Maloba Keleko Francis Town because today my runway is a Kopana unlike Maloba, so that's why I improve from 591 to at least 6 meters for the qualify the Africa Senior. Unfortunately, I can't corner. But then we are hoping for a 10 our computer because within these 2 weeks our runway.
The third BAA track and field pre-season competition is expected to be held in Francistown on the 10th of February. Kagiso Molelekwa, PTV Sport, Gaborone.
And now switching codes to football news. Former Zebras head coach Mokhomutsi Mpote has joined Nico United as their new gaffer for the rest of the season. The Selby Puga-based outfit unveiled the former Orapa United coach yesterday at a media briefing, taking over as the new technical head coach from Wame Mokoke, who was fired late last year due to poor results. Mpote, who parted ways with the national team last year, October, faces a daunting task of reigniting the hopes of Nico United's faithful followers who have seen their club struggle for the better part of the season with only 1 win, 7 draws and 5 losses from 13 outings. Teenage Importers' first task will be to look for 3 points away to lock leaders Township Rollers this Friday at the National Stadium.
Ki tumela game ya bone ka ba se muka ka teng and tumelo wa me ke gore football is about collective work. Ha ke ata ha go change sepe ke tsa go bereka the technical members ke tsa go bereka le di player and then the support ya lona and the office, it will help us go dira se re se batlang.
Ga re batalletse ka gore ga ba khona tiro re batalletsa gore re oketse bokiti jwa bone re oketse mathale mo go bone re mmogo akere ga re nyatse sepe se ba se dirile ga re go ba tsenya mo pressureng epe ga re batla go bua ya gore nya want the team to go to top 8, it will be for the next season, but for this season ga re leng teng team maintain the league status.
Big Sisters FC and Prisons 11 ladies kicked off their 2024 campaign with a 2-2 draw in a Gaborone Region League game played at Likidi Football Center. Lydia Poloko was there.
At some point we didn't, but we picked up late because we wanted to use speed against them because they're a little bit slower at the back, so we wanted to use our speed up front so that we can penetrate them easily. But it didn't work at some point, but we'll go back and work on it again.
It's disappointing because we missed a couple of chances that we could have buried the game early, and during the second half we continued missing chances after chances. As you know, we are from the festive. Slowly we are getting there, even though we miss a lot of chances. Banyana ba kgone gore ba momagane sentle re kgone go ina di game tse dingwe tsa rona tse di latela.
And finally, Cape Verde and Ivory Coast yesterday proceeded to the quarterfinals of the 2023 Africa Cup of Nations tournament. Islanders Cape Verde defeated Mauritania by 1-0 to proceed to the quarterfinals thanks to an 88th-minute penalty strike by Ryan Mendes. Cape Verde, who have been impressive at the tournament so far, will take on the winners between Morocco and South Africa in the quarterfinals. Defending champions Senegal were bundled out by host Ivory Coast 5-4 at the penalty kicks. Ivory Coast will now wait for the winner between Mali and Burkina Faso in the next round. The quarterfinals continue tonight as Mali will be up against Burkina Faso at 7 p.m. while Morocco battles South Africa at 10 p.m. And that is it for sport this hour. I'll be back with more at 5 o'clock, but stay tuned because In Context continues with Kailo Sabone right after this.